Hello, welcome to our presentation today, Eating with Purpose and Without Guilt. My name is Angie Gutierrez, the Family and Community Health Agent in Bexar County. Today we're going to discuss stress eating, how our relationship with food influences what and how much we eat, and how we can use mindful eating tools to help us eat, but not too much. So let's get started. The foods that we choose to eat are the results of many factors. Parents and authority figures influence what children eat, family and friends, where you live. Is there a grocery store where you can buy healthy foods? Are all the restaurants fast foods with few healthy options? Where we work also influence our eating habit, especially if there are office parties, snacks available, or the children of your coworkers are selling candies and food. Other factors that influence our eating habits include physical activity, our health, and our knowledge and attitudes about food and nutrition. For those of you who have taken on multiple caregiver roles and responsibility, you may have noticed changes with your eating habits. Take a look at these pictures for a moment. How many of you have ever felt like this before? Can you relate with either one of them? What do you think might be going on in their lives? If there's a lot of stress going on in their life, how might this impact their food choices? Studies show that stress in the United States is a concern. An estimated 7 in 10 Americans are believed to experience physical symptoms of stress. These symptoms can include poor energy levels, headaches, upset stomach, insomnia, and feeling run down. Sometimes stress can lead to more colds and infections. Other people with stress might even grind their teeth or clench their jaw at night. A number of events can lead to stress, but some of the biggest contributors to stress in our lives include job, money, health problems, relationship problems, how we think we look, poor diet, and lack of sleep. Even too much media can influence the amount of stress that we experience. In a survey conducted on adults, 1 in 3 had seen their doctors because of stress, and 1 in 3 cited their job as a regular source of stress in their lives. That is not to say that all stress is bad. However, when stress is constantly present and not dealt with, the end result can be poor health and an increased risk for chronic diseases. Research has shown that stress can impact our eating habits. One study found that 3 in 10 adults use food to cope with stress. Another study found that during stressful times, nearly half of adults choose unhealthy foods. For individuals who are dealing with chronic stress, their diet tends to be more energy dense versus nutrients dense. What type of foods do you crave or eat when you're under stress? I'll share with you, I usually like to eat sweet things. So eating comfort food is very common during times of stress. These foods are often high in calories, very tasty, and while they make you feel better in the short term, in the long term, they can lead to the development of poor eating habits, weight gain, and other adverse health outcomes. So far, we have learned that some of us are under stress, at least 1 in 3. We have also learned that using food to cope with stress is common, and the foods people choose to deal with stress are not very healthy. Now combine that with the fact that our environment often encourages us to overeat. Let's face it, food is everywhere we turn, whether it's a vending machine in the building we visit, the refrigerator we may have under our desk at work, a jar of candy sitting on a coworker's desk, an endless choice of drive-through options in our neighborhood, or the common office parties we participate in. And many times, this food is available even if we are not hungry. Does any of these pictures look familiar? Do any of these pictures look familiar? I want you to take a minute and ask yourself this question. Are my eating habits impacting my health? If so, how can we approach nutrition and eating in a healthy way when living and working in a stressful environment? We overeat not because we enjoy food too much, it is because we don't enjoy it enough. This is a quote that leads us into the discussion of how we can enjoy food without overeating. If you are like many of us and just trying to get through the day, we may not be taking the time to enjoy the food that we eat. In other words, we are not being mindful of what we are eating. When we think about the concept of mindfulness, we are talking about the act of being aware of our surroundings, being aware of what is currently going on and what we are doing. Have you ever been driving down the road and all of a sudden you forget that you're almost at your destination? Or have you ever sat down for dinner and ate so fast that you forgot what you ate and how good it tasted? These are examples of what happens when we are not mindful. Mindfulness is the act of paying attention to what is happening in that moment. You live in the moment and think about the current experience. Studies suggest that being mindful can help lower stress, depression, and anxiety, and may even improve overall health. Let's focus our attention to mindful eating. Mindful eating is defined as eating with intention or purpose while paying attention to what and how much we eat. When we eat mindfully, we are in tune with hunger, fullness, taste, and satiety cues. On the other hand, there are those times when we might engage in mindless or distracted eating. This happens when we eat for reasons other than being hungry. Some people may eat when they are stressed, happy, bored, angry, sad, or even depressed. Have you ever done this before? When this happens, there is often little or no thought to what is being eaten or how much. I can honestly say I've done it. Mindful eating is a fair new concept, but some researchers believe that it can help us eat healthier. If practiced correctly, mindful eating may help control food cravings, may reduce unhealthy eating habits such as binge eating, emotional eating, or restrained eating. Mindful eating can also help us consume fewer calorie-rich foods, and we may even participate in eating less often. Some other possible benefits of mindful eating include weight management, increased self-esteem, and a sense of empowerment with respect to eating. Mindful eating can help us have control over the foods we eat in a healthy way. There are several components of mindful eating that we need to be aware of and practice. First, we need to become aware of hunger and fullness. The idea is to use our sense of hunger and fullness to decide when to eat. Think about a hunger scale between 0 and 10, where 0 is starving and 10 is very full. If you wait until you are a 0 starving, you may be so hungry that you lose control of how much you eat. If you eat when you're at a 10, already full, then you're eating for reasons other than hunger. Try to eat when you're at a 5 or 6 on the hunger scale. Second, slow down the pace of your meal. Take time to enjoy the taste and texture of your food. Third, eat without distractions. That means no phones or screens or no eating in the car or in front of the TV. You want to have time to enjoy the food without any interruptions or distraction. This also helps you tap into your feeling of hunger or fullness so you know when to stop eating. Fourth, acknowledge that your food preferences are okay. That doesn't mean that it's okay to eat junk food every meal. Rather, your food preferences are part of who you are. As you become more aware of what you eat and why, the theory is that you will shift to healthier foods, which lead us to the next component of mindful eating, and that is choosing to eat food that is tasty and provides nourishment. As we shift from eating mindlessly to eating foods with a purpose, the goal is to replace unhealthy foods with those that are healthier and more nutritious. Next, let's tune into events and situations that triggers us to eat when we're not hungry. When you're stressed, do you eat? If so, be aware of it and look for other ways to deal with stress. For example, meditation. Some research says that if we eat with a purpose, then foods that we thought were bad or sinful may no longer be desirable. Again, you're eating with a purpose, being in tune with your hunger and satiety and without distractions. For some people, mindful eating can be hard to do. Our food environment generally supports mindless eating. Food is everywhere and there are many subtle cues to eat regardless of how hungry we may be. Our work culture often promotes mindless eating. How many of us eat at our desk or on the run while we're headed to the next meeting? Do you ever get to enjoy the food that you're eating? Or do you inhale it and wonder where it all went 30 minutes later? Some people find it hard to identify when they are hungry and when they are full. This is especially true for people who snack or graze during the day. Take a second and ask yourself this question. When was the last time you actually sat down at a meal and felt hungry? If you never experienced hunger before a meal, how will you know when you are truly full? Finally, mindful eating is a process. It does not happen overnight. Start slowly, shoot for progress, not perfection. Let's talk about some ways that we can incorporate mindful eating at work and at home. If you work, try to keep your desk and work area free from snacks. Studies have shown that when snacks are put in front of people, it promotes eating whether they are hungry or not. Remember, out of sight, out of mind. Next, try not to spend time in places where food is always in sight. This may be in a co-worker's office who keeps candy on their desk, or in the break room where vending machines are available. Next, remove distractions when you eat so you can focus on the food you are feeling of hunger and fullness. At work, this means not eating at your desk. At home, this means no snacking in bed or in front of the TV. At home and at work, it means eating without computers or phones in our hands. Remember, the goal here is to focus on the food and our feeling of hunger and fullness. Many people who practice mindful eating start their meal with an expression of gratitude. For some, it may be a prayer of thanks. For others, it may be a moment of reflection or gratitude for the particular meal and all the work that went into preparing it. Take a moment to express gratitude allows you to begin thinking about the meal that you're about to eat. When done, it also allows for one to get in tune with his or her hunger or satiety. Another tip is to chew your food, don't inhale it. Eat slow so you can taste the food and savor the flavor. One that is helpful is to put down the utensils in between bites. This will slow down the eating process and would allow us to get in tune with the feelings of hunger and fullness. Remember, all this is going on without the phones and computers, TVs, or any other screens on. Remember, mastering the habit of mindful eating is not going to happen overnight, and for some, it can be hard to do. Just take it one day, one meal at a time, and remember that it's about the process, not perfection. Think about the following question. What is one thing that you can do to help move forward towards mindful eating? In summary, using food to cope with stress can lead to unhealthy eating habits, usually because we end up eating for reasons other than hunger, and the foods that we eat during stressful times are not healthy. Mindful eating can help us connect with food in a positive manner that allow us to experience both hunger and satiety. It can also help us become aware of taste and the texture of the food that we eat. In the end, becoming more aware of our hunger and satiety can help us adopt healthier eating habits. If we eat only when we are hungry and stop when we are full, then that is a great start to watching our portions and calories. That concludes our presentation for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me and leave a message. Please check out our Facebook page that has plenty of educational information and recipes. Have a great day.